Manners
Hello
getting 10 and a
and
half.
welcome. Why are you talking while I'm doing an intro? Fuck you. Welcome to this week's Scrimshaw NFL Pick Show. My name is Evan Scrimshaw. I just recorded a full podcast with Nathaniel Arfin that are broader NFL takes. But buddy, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I am excited
You
about this
stepped on my
week's
intro,
game.
so
Yeah, well, I'm not rusty at all.
we literally just recorded a podcast. I would just like to make this clear. This is coming out the day after, but because I'm hoping to get the NFL show up by like tonight. As we're recording this on Wednesday afternoon, just dipped into afternoon. Daniel Arfin, why were you commenting on the Thanksgiving Day games? Should we do a special Thanksgiving show next week?
And just run through the whole week, or
No. Do two shows. Do a Thanksgiving show and then the normal 6 picks.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun. The reason we were
like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I forget to say it at the beginning of videos. Like, subscribe.
The reason I was commenting is because we are going to have a spectacular Thanksgiving game featuring the Dallas Cowboys led by Cooper Rush and the New York Giants led by Tommy DeVito.
Italian legend Tommy DeVito. Is Tommy DeVito still
Giants announcing that was that his story? All I knew that it was that he was a terrible quarterback for the Giants.
Yeah, no. He still lived at home, and his mother still made his bed. And he was incredibly Italian.
Wow.
And he was from like New Jersey somewhere, like very close to the stadium. Hey, was it the Packers he beat on Monday Night Football?
He's not a very good quarterback.
No, but he is hotter than Daniel Jones, which is enough for me. Bears plus 3.5 against the Vikings. Gonna kick this off. The Bears seem to have found something. Caleb was extremely efficient in the second half last week. Honestly, they probably should have scored significantly more points against the Packers. They should have beat the Packers. If not for getting the field goal blocked. But I kind of think the Bears are gonna go on a run. They're not gonna get close to the playoffs. They're gonna instill people with some confidence, and they're gonna mostly just ruin their draft pick, and they're gonna end up picking like 13th instead of picking 8th, which they actually need. And then they're gonna get a shittier option, be it offensive line or receiver. But the Bears had a chunk of their offensive line was out for a few games in a row. Their line is back. And I think one of the lessons that we need to pay attention to is we just need to put a line through games where teams have like 2 or more offensive line injuries at the same time. I think those are just unrepresentative of what this team is. Caleb Williams was the best quarterback by EPA for a 3-week stretch when I think it was weeks 4 to, it was either 4 to 6 or 5 to 7. I think it was 4 to 6. Like, I think the Bears are a good team that lost too many games to be competitive this year, but I think, and I mean, man, Sam Darnold, he is limping to the end of the season. And I think the Vikings are fundamentally relying on a bunch of goodwill and a good record from the beginning of the year. They are not the same team anymore.
I mean, we saw this a bit with the Vikings last year when they started to fall off in terms of their defensive play, and we're somewhat seeing a similar thing play out after their bye. They came out and they had terrible defensive performances against the Lions and the Rams. They started to turn things around against mediocre teams. The Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans, and calling them mediocre is favorable. It'll be tough for the Vikings if they can't find some offensive production, and they haven't been able to find it. I think the Bears, I don't know that I am with you on this because I haven't seen as much out of the Bears as you have. I'm really not a believer in this team. I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams, but the Vikings are starting to show cracks, and
Since
I
the
think it's at
Vikings 5-0, since the Vikings 5-0 start, they're 18th in offensive EPA and 14th by offensive success rate. Like, this is not a team that is playing particularly well. And like, yeah, I bet them last week, and they covered last week against the Titans. But like, it feels their offense is back to feeling difficult in that way that offenses can be, right? Like, it's just a lot of third downs. It's like a lot of third and mediums, and like against the Titans, yeah, you're gonna convert enough of those third and mediums to get there. But like, the Bears defense has been, good. I think this is probably going to be a fairly low scoring game. 3 points matters here, but like the case against the Bears is pretty obvious. It's just, that if Green Bay runs better in the red zone, then, that game probably isn't particularly close. But you could also say the same thing with the Bears. They moved the ball incredibly efficiently last week. And I kind of think Minnesota, they have done this before. They've come out, the last 3 seasons now, they've come out extremely hot. And that team has gotten cold by the middle, has cooled off. And I think this team is cooling off at just the wrong time. They don't know how to peak. I mean, it's a 39 total, which makes getting the hook way more valuable than a 50 total.
I think a big part of it is that Aaron Jones hasn't been the same down the last stretch. He basically hasn't been the same since his injury against the Jets. But not having that strong running game component it hurts them. Now, of course, yeah, he's averaging 3 yards. He averaged 2.6 against Tennessee. Without the run game that they showed earlier, they can't take the pressure off of Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold needs the pressure taken off of him. He is not a good quarterback.
What's your first pick?
My first pick is going to be the Arizona Cardinals getting 1 point against the Seahawks, traveling to the Seahawks, but the Cardinals have looked pretty good, and getting a point, being the underdog, even though they're traveling to Seattle, it just seems like it's not respecting the play that Kyler has been putting together and who the Seahawks have been lately.
So the counterpoint to that is that this line is saying that the Cardinals are the better team on a neutral field. But like, here's the case against this, and I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole. Seahawks 18th defensively, not great. By success rate, the Seahawks 21st, again, not great. Cardinals 31st defensively by success rate, 25th by EPA, right? This is a battle of like the Cardinals have both the best unit in this game and the worst unit in this game, right? Their offense is, I think, top half of the league. Their defense is bad. This is very bad, right? And to me, this is just like a pure toss-up. This is a coin flip game. Seahawks just beat the Niners, but how impressive is beating the Niners? We talked about this on the show yesterday. If you want like broader thoughts, but like I kind of think you should just make every game in this division somewhere between 1 point and 2.5, and I'm not touching basically anything at this point. I don't know. All of these teams are eminently mediocre. None of these teams are reliable or consistent week to week. Why the fuck should I trust any of them?
I think that's a valid point. Um, I just don't see it from Gino. I don't know that they can keep it within 3 points. I really think the Cardinals will hold this
But they only have to do that against what is a bottom 10 defense in football.
That is true.
Like they don't,
and they have shown themselves to be able to.
Geno Smith's ability to score 20 points against a mediocre to bad defense is unparalleled in the NFL. But he ain't getting you 35. And he's not getting you 20 against a good defense. I mean, he got like I think literally 20 against the I don't even know if he got 20 last week against the Niners. But like Geno Smith can get you 20, right? He got literally 20 against the Niners. Yeah, I was right about that. He can get you 20, which is what you need. The Cardinals defense is terrible. Like
it is.
Respectfully, it's terrible. They're terrible. I'm surprised. Okay, Green Bay -2.5. I didn't love this team. I didn't love it before the Nick Bosa injury. I am gonna respectfully say I don't think he plays. I don't think this line's 2.5 if he is playing, because that line has moved. If the Packers run better in the red zone, they had 2 goal to go situations that came out with 0. Like they had 2 goal to go situations where they combined to score 0 points. You know, if they score 10 out of that, then they don't even need the block kick, and the Bears are, relegated to the dustbin of our memories. I think it's fine. I think it's good, honestly. The Packers don't have a great ability to put teams away, and that would I think one of the things with the Packers is that they kind of play to the quality of the competition. But they don't have a great win this year. That is the one thing that concerns me. But I don't know if they need a great win to beat the Niners. And frankly, I think we've got the better quarterback. I think we have the better offense. And this is one of the few rare times where I don't think Kyle Shanahan has a coaching advantage.
This is also an interesting line because the over-under is at 47.5. That's a really high line for 2 teams who have not put up high-scoring games between the 2 of them this season. I think that I'm hitting the under here, and I also think that the Green Bay Packers are the better team for that style of play. And the Niners, their inability to play fast has been a problem. Their inability to put up slanted numbers quickly has been an issue. This is not the same 49ers team that we have seen in the past that has been able to, kind of get out to the races early. And I think I'm tailing you on this pick. The Packers are going to win. And I don't think it'll be particularly high scoring, but I do think they'll be able to cover.
I think the big thing for me is that I do like the under. I think both these teams, both these teams' instinct is to run the ball a lot, right? Clock is just gonna. I think we're going to be seeing either run the ball or short, high probability pass plays, and that's just going to, I think, milk the clock. I think you're going to see a lot of 8, 10, 12 play scoring drives in this game. I don't trust this. Niners offense has not shown me that they can scheme their problems away. Their offensive line is not as great as it is. Packers defense is 10th by EPA, so they're clearly the Niners don't have a defensive edge. And with Nick Bosa, I don't even know if the Niners have an above average defense anymore. This one feels fairly obvious to me.
I'm with you.
I'm
tailing you. Yes. Okay. My next pick is going to be the Denver Broncos -5.5 against the stumbling Las Vegas Raiders.
That is the to quote Bill Simmons, that is the Vegas zone. I make the case.
Bo Nix has looked better lately. They are running the ball fairly well, and their defense is exceptional. The Raiders are probably one of the worst teams in football, if not the worst team in football. I think that 5.5 is, it's tough because the Broncos haven't been that high scoring team. They haven't shown up that well in terms of big scoring games, but Gardner Minshew's not getting it done. And it's not like he has any help from any of his weapons here.
So Bo Nix is 8th in the NFL since week 6 by EPA. For the full season, the Broncos defense is 3rd by EPA. That it's a persuasive case that's mostly relying on the fact that the Raiders are A, terrible, and B, trying to be terrible, right? I think it's pretty clear at this point that the Raiders would like to just take some quarterback. Unfortunately for them, the quarterback class kind of sucks ass, but I don't hate the pick. I'm not instantly tailing you on it, but I might come back to it. I'm still making my decisions. This is live radio, except for the fact that it's neither radio nor uploaded live. Oh god, I kind of hate the slate of games, not gonna lie. Panthers +11, Carolina +11.
Wow.
Off a bye. Because they played in Munich 2 weeks ago, I believe. They didn't play last week, right? I'm not going crazy. Pretty sure we're off the bye.
I'm checking that for you.
Oh God, Panthers. No, I don't want the Florida Panthers. I want the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, off the bye. Yeah. I'm right about this. Off the bye. Bryce Young looks okay.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing, okay? This Chiefs team is not designed to cover big numbers, okay? Because they're gonna dink and dunk, they're gonna take a lot of time, and there's zero chance Andy Reid is gonna deliver anything, good, meaningful in terms of offensive playbooks. They're not gonna waste anything here. But this is very clearly a letdown game for the Chiefs, right? They just played, their big, their game of the season, right? Yes, they have the weight off their shoulders, but they have a short week coming up because they play the Black Friday game, right? They've got back-to-back division games the 2 weeks after this. This is just an undeniable Chiefs just run a very simple version of the playbook. Spagnuolo just runs a fairly base defense. They win by 3-10. And maybe there's
the biggest number
when it gets when people are oh shit, do we need to put the Chiefs on the big TV? But they're gonna win, but they're just not a team that's built to cover 11s.
The biggest number they've covered this year is 5. They pushed on 7. So yeah, it's looking at the numbers, it's not a bad bet. I like the Vegas play.
It's just
sharp thinking.
Yeah, I just no one's going to want to do this. And the thing is, of course, is that money lines and point spreads are correlated, right? And so they want to make the Chiefs -650, and they need to make them over 10, because if you make the Chiefs 8.5 point favorites and -450, 475 on the money line, 440, which is what the Texans are as an 8.5 point favorite, right? They are in every money line parlay and every 6.5, and 7 point tees all week long, right?
Yeah,
every single fucking one. They are in every single one if it's 8.5, because then you can tease them down. You go through two key numbers, go through 7 and 3, right? So they have to make them 11 for very understandable, just like logistics of betting reasons.
Yeah, it's good bookmaking, but it's
it's understandable bookmaking, but like, I'm sorry, they should not be covering. They're not 11 points better against in Carolina. Yeah, no way. This is an absurd line. A completely understandable, absurd line.
Vegas is with you here. 81% of the public bets are on Kansas City to cover. Only 58% of the money is on Kansas City to cover. So that's a big mismatch to highlight. Should the sharp money seems to be with you. I personally am not tailing.
Oh, so you think I'm this fucking sharp guy? You know, it's a sharp play, and you're gonna fucking fuck you.
I just want to talk about a couple more games here. Most notably, I don't think the line has moved quickly enough here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -5.5. As we discussed, Tommy DeVito.
You mean Tommy just sexy?
His name is Tommy DeVito. Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't playing into some kind of stereotype there. So Tommy DeVito is not a good quarterback. The Buccaneers, while not being a good team whatsoever, have been able to win some games. And the Giants, it's not like changing the quarterback. The quarterback wasn't the problem with this team. They are not a good football team for a number of reasons.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and defend Daniel Jones. I'm also definitely not gonna defend Tommy DeVito in any like serious, meaningful way.
This is a 2-8 football team.
The Bucks are 29. The Bucks are 29th in defensive EPA and 30th by defensive success rate.
But I'm not worried about them on defense because I'm not worried about the Giants on offense.
Okay, but here's the thing. Tommy DeVito did beat the Green Bay Packers last year.
Rachaad White and Bucky Irving have been an interesting pair to watch in the Tampa Bay Packers.
Tommy DeVito almost beat your Eagles on Christmas last year.
Almost.
Tommy DeVito did beat your Eagles on week 18.
Okay, but week 18, the Eagles weren't playing anyone.
No, they did. They started playing people. Because you could have won the division still. You just sucked.
That's possible also.
Tommy DeVito, look, I'm not here to say Tommy DeVito is good. Because that is a bridge further than I am willing to go, okay? But I am not positive. Tommy, I think you are being I think you're being racist against Italians.
That's fair.
But so here's the thing, buddy. Okay. Do I want to make this point? Do I want to make this point? Do I want to make? Okay, well, we're gonna find out whether I want to. I have pulled up last year's EPA statistics for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, he was actually he was exactly as bad as I remember him being. Jeez. He is 43rd amongst quarterbacks who took. The only quarterbacks who were worse than him last year were Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, DTR in Cleveland, Walker, PJ Walker in Cleveland, Trevor Siemian for the Jets, and Bailey Zappi. By success rate, the list of quarterbacks that were worse than him is Bailey Zappi.
And for those who don't remember Bailey Zappi, no one blames you.
Well, maybe people should have.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still not tailing you. I think I am gonna end up tailing you on Denver, by the way. I've decided looking at the rest of the slate. Look, I just don't know that Tampa Bay is good enough to justify this pick. To justify this price.
Five and a half is
Tampa.
heavy, but I do think they win by 6 or 7 here.
You're giving Tampa Bay too much credit for being a good team, I think.
Well, as you alluded to in the previous show, I still have trauma from the Eagles playing Tampa Bay earlier this season and from last year.
Yeah. Patriots plus 7.5. Yeah, I know Tua is back. No, I don't really care. Drake May seems okay. Patriots defense 7.5 and a 7.5 in a division game. I like underdogs. I like key numbers.
I don't know.
As we were saying earlier, like the just like everyone's dumbass tease of the week is gonna be Dolphins Texans, and I like betting against. Like I'm like debating pulling the trigger on Tennessee too. I think that might just be a bridge too far for me, but like, I like betting against teams where I just know everyone's going to need them to be good.
I don't think I'm taking either of these teams, but an interesting dog parlay would be the spread for both Patriots and Titans.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the reason I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that is Will Levis is 36th of 40 qualifying quarterbacks. The 4 quarterbacks who are worse than him are Bryce Young, Deshaun Watson, Cooper Rush, and Spencer Rattler. Whereas Drake May is a respectable 25th of 40 quarterbacks for the full season. Better than Bo Nix, better than Dak, better than Joe Flacco, and is at least adding expected points per play. And Drake May is 16th in offensive success rate for the season. So, like, I think he'll play well enough. I don't think the Pats defense is what I'm more excited about. I think they know what they're doing, and I think they're going to be able to limit Miami to some extent. Wow, the Patriots defense is way worse than I thought it was. Oh no, by success rate, they're 23rd. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my memory is playing tricks with me. I thought they were better than that, but whatever. I just kind of think the Dolphins are frauds. So 7.5 in division. That's kind of enough for me.
I don't think I'm going to tell you here. My next pick, I don't think I'm going to argue with you either. The thinking is sound, and I like the mindset, but I don't believe in Drake May to the same extent that you apparently do. My next pick is going to be the homer pick of the week, and it feels really easy here. The Eagles 2.5 going into LA to play the Rams. The Eagles have had 2 incredibly. They handily beat the Washington football team, who until then had seemed like possible contenders for the NFC East. I'm still not 100% sold on the team, but they are running the ball a lot more and a lot more effectively with Saquon Barkley, who single-handedly dominated the Commanders last week. I think that if they continue to run the ball, 2.5 shouldn't be a difficult line to cover against a Rams team that has been at best mediocre.
That was going to be my last pick. I don't really get this line. Well, no, I do, which is that people are overrating the Rams despite mediocre metrics and just a generalized belief. And Matt Stafford, he's still good, as if time does not come for everybody. And also, like, it's pretty clear that Like, yeah, the Rams have won a few games in a row, but like they're, I think, pretty clearly getting a bump from people wanting the Rams to be good, right? Like, one, you have a bunch of sports media focused in LA, right? ESPN has studios there. The Ringer obviously is based out of LA. You just have a lot of people who go to Rams games. A lot of the West Coast NFL press, have credentials to Rams games. But two, I think it's just like plainly, there is sort of nostalgia for the team that made it, but like, 14th in offensive EPA, like what is this team, right? For all the talk about this team, they probably should be better than that, except for the fact that they're an eminently mediocre 5-5 team. And I do genuinely believe, 19th by defensive EPA, like they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook with routine aplomb. They are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
That was really good. I think we there's a lot of carry over hype from their win against the Vikings. That overtime win against the Seahawks was also really fun. But then they lost to the Dolphins, and they squeaked by the Patriots. Yeah.
Also,
Stafford
you shouldn't be going to overtime against the Seahawks if you're an actual contender.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Stafford has looked. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Stafford has looked old since about 2012. So, like, I don't know if that's true. Also, I don't know if I'd ever talked about this, but Matt Stafford's wife hosting a podcast where she admitted that that when they were in college, she slept with Stafford's backup to get his attention. Well, one, that's a genius way of understanding jocks and frat boys. So good job by you. Why are you admitting that in public?
Yeah, don't say that in public.
Like
that's.
I just think too many people. I just think too many people are way too willing to talk about. Like, way too many famous people are willing to talk about their sex lives in public, and it's like I enjoy every story of this, but that's just because, like, that says bad things about me. It's kind of where I'm at. It's like we should probably not. We should probably know less about each other.
This is basically the problem.
I mean, the fact that the fucking Hawk Tua girl has a podcast that apparently people listen to, honestly, kill us all. Kill us all.
Yeah. Not great for us. So I believe I have one more pick.
You do, yeah. I'm done. You again. Are you gonna pull the trigger?
I am taking the Los Angeles Chargers money line. I think the Chargers are not only the because for the Chargers plus 2.5. They are the better team here. Justin Herbert is at least the guy we thought he was 3 years ago. They don't have the same kind of weapons, but they have Gus Edwards. They have J.K. Dobbins. They have basically the Baltimore Ravens offense from 2 years ago if they had stayed healthy. And they are healthy, and they're showing us what that offense could have been if they had a pocket passer who could throw downfield and could take off of offenses as well as play that dink and dunk game really well.
So I think better than the Ravens is aggressive, but I do think the Chargers are underrated in market a little bit and I've taken them, I think, a couple times in recent weeks. I think they are underrated in market. Obviously it's the Harbaugh, right? It's Jim and John. The Ravens defense is not losing Mike McDonald clearly did something to that defense, and losing Patrick Queen to the Steelers. it comes down to like they can only score 15 points against. They can only score 15 points against the Steelers. Like, put aside, yeah, Justin Tucker missed a couple kicks. Okay, cool. But like, put aside the Pittsburgh offense stuff that, oh, they kick 6 field goals. Well, okay, a better offense probably runs better. Like, you probably got lucky to give up 6 field goals and not give up a touchdown, right? This was the logic I used for the Commanders way early in the season. Remember when they kicked 7 field goals against the Giants? The next week, I'm like, no, Commanders are like best bet of the week against Cincy, and they ended up winning because, spoiler alert, they ran hotter in the red zone. I think Herbert and the Chargers can do it. I think the big thing for me is Jim Harbaugh clearly trusts Herbert to lead a more pass-heavy offense. Like, if you looked at just the first half when the Chargers offense was humming against the Bengals, I think they had like 4 running back rushes, something like that, 4 or 5 in the first half. Like, it was not run heavy in the slightest. And they were letting Herbert be Herbert. They were letting him run. They were letting him call his own number. I think he had like 50 yards rushing and like 2 rushes in the first half. If he's going to really do that, I think the Ravens are in real trouble. I'm holding out for a 3, but I think the Chargers win the game, maybe. I think the Chargers are really good.
Yeah, and that's where I'm coming at this from. And I think Baltimore, with respect to them, they are not the team they were 2-3 years ago. Lamar Jackson has failed to repeat the performance that we saw from him earlier in his career multiple times, and he's just not that guy this season.
Lamar has a tendency to play his worst games, the most important moments. And I kind of think of all the people who was going to know how to scheme against him. I think Jim Harbaugh probably has a pretty good understanding of Lamar's tendencies. I don't know. I'm not betting. Like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna bet a 3, but like, the Ravens are extremely hit or miss, and I don't really believe them.
That's exactly it. And the Chargers just feel like they have an opportunity here to show off the team that they are, in the way that the Rams get the coverage, the Chargers really, really don't. And they could show that they're the team to watch in LA.
Yeah. For me, it's just like, I don't know if like, at some point the Ravens need to put up or shut up. And yeah, they beat the shit out of the Bills. But like, outside of that, what is their best win this year? Beat the Commanders, but we all know the Commanders' defense is bad.
Yeah.
Like,
this Cincinnati, like these Cincinnati wins, both of them really, really tight games.
Both of them really tight games. Both of them they should have lost, right? If Evan McPherson makes his kick, any of 2 kicks in the first game, they lose. And then if the refs don't just decide to give the Ravens the win, and frankly, if your defense is giving up 34 to Joe Burrow, like, what universe am I supposed to think that Herbert can't put up 25, 28, whatever's needed? And the Chargers defense is a hell of a lot better than the Bengals defense, right? Just at some point, the Ravens need to put up or shut up. That's it. I don't know.
And they haven't shown it. And I think that this is LA's week.
Oh, half of LA's week. Do you have any other thoughts on the slate before we go?
I am very confused. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. I'm really confused about the Steelers-Browns line, but I think I talked myself into this. it feels tough because with the NFC North, or AFC North rather, these games they always end up playing out really, really tight, and the Steelers only getting 3.5. I don't know. Any thoughts on it?
There's gonna definitely be a moment when Cleveland is like winning or has the ball in like the Pittsburgh territory to take the lead potentially, but because that's just what AFC North nonsense happens. But like, I almost wonder if the Steelers are saved by the fact that they have a division game after 2 big wins, because it won't be as. Because if they were playing like Carolina, I think I honestly might pick Carolina to win. I think Carolina and Cleveland are like pretty equivalent talent roster. Maybe Cleveland's a bit better, but like it's just one of these things where with the Steelers, like they're gonna be able to get up because it's a division game. Cleveland's bad, man. Like, I'm really sorry, but Jameis isn't a starting quarterback in the NFL. We know this. We keep trying the Jameis thing, but it never fucking works, and there's a reason it doesn't work. You're going Arizona, Green Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, and the Chargers. I am going Chicago, Green Bay, Carolina, Denver. That's how you pronounce that word. Patriots and the Eagles. Okay. At Arfin Nathaniel on Twitter. What's the Blue Skies account?
At Nathaniel Arfin.
Have you followed me on Blue Skies yet?
I just did.
It has not shown up for me yet.
Well, that's what you get with the Blue Sky.
But the skies are supposed to be bluer, not redder. Although technically, I don't know. I'm pretty like done with blue skies, but hey, if maybe if I keep posting there, my columns will actually get some more traction, and whatever. At East Grimshaw on Twitter and Blue Skies, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, political writing, and more. Hopefully, at scrimshawunscripted.substack.com. Feel free to be a paid subscriber to my Substack. It helps me make more content / stress less about money now that the Lions has fired me, but you don't have to, and I'll never put any of my content behind a paywall. Mostly because I don't think my content is good enough to justify a paywall. Thanks so much for having me on, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on. Jesus Christ. I just slipped into like I'm doing PX3 and I'm like yes for some reason. I just slipped into my like guest outro. Thanks for coming on, buddy. This has been a delight. Have a good day.
Thank you for having me. Have a fantastic Wednesday and football weekend.